a lot of us are unhealed from traumas, unhealed from past hurts, past issues, and we're going out here in the dating pool and we're hurting other people. We're setting them back because we have not been healed from our own personal issues. I'm telling y'all that from experience, man. I ain't telling you what I think. I'm telling y'all exactly what I know. So what we got to do, man, we have to start first and foremost. You got to know who you are in God. You have to get your vertical straight. If we're going to heal the rifts between male and female, if we're going to stop, the first thing you got to do is you got to stop listening to all this trash on social media. All this, what she bring to the table, what he bring to the table. Because the whole point of relationships is you want to build something with somebody. You want to be able to build something with someone. How can you build something with someone if your outlook and your thinking is wrong? So the first thing I would tell you to do is you got to stop listening to people on social media, because let me tell you something, man. Their experiences, excuse me, their experiences is not your experience. You need to get your vertical straight. Get yourself aligned with the Almighty. Get yourself aligned with the Creator. Learn who you are first. And once you learn who you are, and once you heal from your traumas and heal from certain from past relationships and learn the wisdom from things that you have endured, then you can get yourself together. And as you get yourself together, you begin to walk in purpose. And once you walk in purpose, then you can start looking for someone who aligns with your purpose. A lot of us are in frustrated relationships because you're aligned with someone who your purpose don't align with them. Their purpose and your purpose steady clashing. That is what you call unevenly yoked. You got to have some real deal conversations, man. You have to be willing to walk away when you know it does not serve the purpose. And we have to get the physical out of the way, because anybody can be attracted to you physically. But once they get enough of your physical body, then what else does the relationship have to offer? So we cannot we cannot date people just based off of physical appearances. There has to be substance. And how do you know what substance is if you don't know who you are as a person? You got to know who you are, what you're willing to stake, what you're willing to take, what you're willing not to take. There's some things that you can compromise on. There's some things you got to have a hard stand. But how can you know these things if you don't know who you are? Some of us are taking hard stances on things that you could compromise on. And some of us are compromising on things that you should be taking a hard stand on. Because you can have somebody that they got the whole table, they got the house. I mean, they ain't just bringing something to the table. They the table, they the floors, they the walls, they the roof, they the whole house. But if their purpose does not serve your purpose, then you're gonna wind up wasting your time. So I would say first, and you have to have meaningful conversations with yourself to know who you are. You got to spend time with God, man. You do. You got to spend time in prayer. You got to spend time in reflection. You got to learn the wisdom of things that you have endured from past relationships. What every relationship that you had previously, there is something that you can learn from each relationship. And I'm not telling you to just look at what the other person did. First and foremost, it takes two to tango. So if you have a relationship that did not work out, you need to learn, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? What have I learned that can benefit me moving forward? If the only thing that you've learned is what you are willing not to settle for, then apply that in your dating phase. But see, a lot of us don't learn the wisdom from previous relationships. And what do? We repeat the same dramas over and over again. You we date the same people over and over again. The only thing that changes is the face. But the spirit of the person, because you're not dating the person, you dating the spirit. You dating that spirit, because if the same person, if you are having the same issues with, if you had an issue with Jerome, and then you start dating David, and you can't tell the difference between David and Jerome, and then you leave David and start dating Mike, and you can't tell the difference between Mike and David and Jerome, and then you start dating Tom, and now you can't tell the difference between Tom, David, Mike, and Jerome, because all of them act the same way. Then you have to realize, wait a minute, it ain't them, it's me. I'm attracting a certain spirit in these people, and this spirit does not benefit me. So what I need to do is find out what it is in me that causes these type of people to be attracted to me. If this is not the result that I want, then I need to see what I need to do. What changes do I need to make so that I can start attracting the very thing that I desire? Because I'm a firm believer in, you got to become what you want to attract. I'm a firm believer in that, man. I am a firm believer in, you got to become what you want to attract. And see, but the reason why we never go past certain levels is because we are constantly looking at the other person, what they done. We're never looking inwardly. And by the time you start looking inwardly, so many years have passed by. You don't want to get to that point. If I'm attracting a certain type of woman, and I know that that type of woman does not benefit me, then what I need to do is I need to shut down the dating. I need to get before God. I need to ask God to show me what it is in me that attracts the wrong type of woman to me. And then I have to accept what God is showing me about me. A lot of us are not willing. When God begins to show us the negative that is in us, we don't want to accept it. We rather call somebody else we want to call somebody else the narcissist. We want to say it's somebody else's fault instead of looking inwardly. Because once you start looking inwardly and start making changes inwardly, then guess what? You'll start attracting different types of you'll start attracting something different. Have you noticed that when a person is totally healed, that if you notice, for those of you that are watching this replay or watching the live, you can attest to this. For those of you that have done the inner work, and you are at a certain level in your healing process, do you realize that when you get to a certain level in your healing process, that the only thing you attract is healed people?